All right, my next pick, I purposely picked because of Justin, and two reasons. I was literally just watching one of the movies in the film series. It was originally based on a series of books, but the films were so spread out as far as like time goes. Like one came out in the 60s, the other one came out in the 80s. And there's 4 books. I would love to see another sequel in this film series of the 2001: A Space Odyssey film series.
Oh.
There's 4 books, and I love 2001: A Space Odyssey is my top 10 favorite films of all time. Full disclosure, I love that movie to death. I think it's a work of art. But hear me out for a sec. They made one sequel out of there's 4 books. There's 2001: A Space Odyssey in 1968, I believe. Then there's 2010, the year we made contact, and they made that into a movie in the 80s. It was like 84 or 5 it came out, I forget. I was literally just watching it before we did our stream tonight, and I was saying to myself, there's 2 other books. There's 2061 and then there's 3001, the final Odyssey. It's all science fiction, it's all sci-fi. With modern effects, could we see a sequel, or a sequel in the franchise of the 3rd book, 2061? And could we see another film in this franchise? I don't know. I mean, Justin's our expert here, and I think I would love to see another film in this world, if you will. For those you don't know, 2001: A Space Odyssey, it's about it's a sci-fi book based on the origin of human beings and how they come from one of the moons of Jupiter. And in the 2nd book and the movie as well, Jupiter becomes Jupiter, the moon Europa. It's not the monolith. It's science fiction to a core, but it's really solid. If you haven't seen any of them, get on it. But I'm all for another film in this series, and I don't know who has the rights to it. I don't know who has the ownership to it, but I would love to see another film in this series. What do you guys think about this? Let's go start with Allie.
First off, I've never seen it, but I've heard a lot about it. And I would not mind watching all of it. And I got to read the books. Now you're making me think about it.
Yeah.
My question is, who do you want to direct this?
Well, here's the thing. So Stanley Kubrick directed the first one in 1968. The guy named Peter Hams directed the second one. As far as who would I like to see direct a sci-fi film like this, man, I feel like JJ would just be like lens flares everywhere, truthfully, because he did Star Trek and Star Wars. I mean, he's in the sci-fi realm. I like the director Rupert Wyatt. He directed the first Planet of the Apes film, The Rise of the Planet of the Apes in 2011. Okay. I like that, because he said he was a good guy or Matt Reeves, truthfully, because I like the way the cinematography was, or even Nolan. The 3 names right there. So. But I would say, because Nolan directed Interstellar, which was a sci-fi epic on its own. But I think Nolan's sticking to original content, whereas Rupert Wyatt and the other guy I just mentioned, not JJ. What did you say? I said Rupert Wyatt, and I said
Reeves.
I forget.
The guy who directed Interstellar.
Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves directed also the Batman movie too that we just got. So. Oh. And I think with the right team, the right cinematography, and the right all the other stuff, and the right script, you could do 2061 easily. I think that seeing a film franchise return something as epic as this story is, there's 2 other books. There's untapped potential, and wouldn't it be something if the people were like, "Oh, I remember when this movie came out in the 60s, the 80s, whatever." They're bringing back another one. Why not? I think it'd be pretty cool. I do like. But it'd have to be a director that could step into a franchise with no problem. Because the first one was Kubrick, the second one with Peter Hams. I don't know what other films that Peter Hams did, but he did a great job with the second one though. But I think as far as a director, I think I like Rupert Wyatt. I like Matt Reeves. I mean Nolan. I think Nolan will stay out of franchises outside of Batman because he did his own stuff with the Batman films, and he directed. He's a big fan of doing his own films, which I totally respect it for, truthfully. But I think. If anyone could do it, I think someone like a franchise director like Matt Reeves or Rupert Wyatt could do it personally, but that's me. I mean, the story is really rich to tell. I just wish they would do something with it, It's based on a book, so.
Right.
Justin, you got anything for this or no?
So, I've seen bits and pieces of 2001.
Okay. It's really slow.
Any of 2010.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if this franchise would have
Yeah, I see that. It may not have legs. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, it could. It might have legs if you keep it going. You know what I mean?
Sorry about that.
You're good, bud. It might have legs. I'm not sure though, but I don't know. This is like a sequel that late in the game.
Anyways, yeah, it's just I don't know if people would go out and see this, you know. The only way I can actually see these movies being made is if done by an auteur filmmaker who, and with that also brings up the problem of financing this movie. You would have to convince a bunch of old people who don't know what to do with their money and convince them that they should put their money into this.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what is this? Well, this happens and this happens. I don't know. It seems to be like a hard sell, this one. And
no, that makes sense.
And just because Kubrick did it, maybe that means it should be left well enough alone.
Right. And even though there's 2 other books and there's plenty of other story to tell, it's just like, you know, I don't know. That's me though. So that was one of my picks for tonight because I love the story, and they never made a second one or a third one. Oh, sorry, a fourth or a third or fourth one. So I don't know. I think it was
right. Like I said, it has to be a filmmaker with a lot of creative control. It has to be done practically. Otherwise, why bother?
Right. Exactly.
Because 2001 was a practical effect marvel. To do any of that with CG would be a disservice.
That is true. I will say that actually is very true because there was so much practical use in the film. So
yeah.
But hey, I mean, I feel like anything is possible. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the second film had Roy Scheider, and he's passed on already. I think Keir Duella is like 80. So I mean that's another thing too. You might have to bring him back at some point if they were to do it, but he's also like 80 something years old. So